listeners, and welcome to another one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings. I'm walking here in Doel, which is a small village in the port of Antwerp. Now, in the late 1960s, early 70s, the government decided they wanted to evict everyone because they wanted to expand the port of Antwerp, which is obviously a very important trade port. So they evicted everyone, but about 20 families decided not to move, not to sell their house to the government, and they decided to stay here. Eventually, it's become a bit of a desolate place, very popular with graffiti artists, as you can see here on the walls of the buildings behind me. But it's a very desolate place with only 20 families still living here. Nevertheless, those 20 families that have decided to stay here, eventually they fought for over 30 years and they won their battle, because Doel is now here to stay. Furthermore, the government has in fact decided in 2021 they will start to make most of these buildings habitable again, and they want to invite families to come back to Doel and to repopulate this village. Nowadays it is very popular with graffiti artists and squatters as well, but in future, hopefully, Doel will once again become habitable again and families will reunite here once more. But obviously I'm not here to talk to you about Doel itself. I'm not here to talk to you about the nuclear plant nearby that you have seen in the fragment that I shot before. No, I'm here to talk to you about whiskey. It's amazing to think that this was once a gas station like 30 years ago, and now it is like something from The Walking Dead. But no, we are still in Doel in the port of Antwerp, and I have here not one but two whiskies with me. As you can see, Lagavulin Distillers Edition, which means with a second maturation. Now here I want to do a head-to-head, because I've got here a release distilled 2003, bottled 2019, and I want to put that head-to-head with the latest release, this one 2005, bottled 2020. Now, can anyone explain how this is supposed to be 16 years old? Because you know the Distillers Edition is actually the counterpart of the classic release, which is the Lagavulin 16, but with a second maturation. In this case, on PX, on Pedro Jimenez sherry cask, the king of sherry. That is supposed to give an extra dimension to this Lagavulin, and it will. But when this was distilled in 2003 and bottled in 2019, definitely 16 years old. Beautiful whiskey, beautiful color, 43% ABV. Right, there we go. But if this is distilled in 2003 and bottled in 2019, then you would expect the one that was bottled in 2020 to be distilled in 2004. But this one is distilled in 2005. There's no way that this can be 16 years old. This is a 15 years old at best. Because even if it was distilled on the 1st of January of 2005 and bottled on the 31st of this, oh, will you look at that? And bottled on the 31st of December of 2020, which it is not, it would still only be 15 years old. So that's not quite, there is something fishy going on here. Was Lagavulin closed in 2004? I don't think so. But it is a fact, and it is well known, that Lagavulin is such a popular Islay whiskey that often they have some problem with stock shortages. So that might in fact be the case why this latest Lagavulin is not actually really 16 years old. But I digress, it's not that important. What I want to talk to you about here, of course, is the Distillers Edition, and I'm going to put them head to head. So I'm going to try them head to head. They've both got this beautiful coppery color. We'll call this the 2003, we'll call this the 2005, and make it easy on ourselves. On the nose. Oh, the 2003. This nose is simply sublime. The overripe bananas. On the barbecue, mind you. Pineapple juice, coffee. I also get some stockfish and blueberries. Smoked ham and some ecoline. I'm not sure if you're familiar with ecoline. Finger paint, you know. Oh, brings me back to kindergarten. A hint of plasticine, in fact. And cherries. But this nose is outstanding. 2005. Delicious as well, but here I get some more seaweeds, wet papers, earthy notes, eucalyptus in the back, some red fruit, in fact, some chocolate with raisins, delicious peat smoke. But the difference between the two is quite significant. It's definitely no less any good, don't get me wrong, but I'll be honest, I do prefer the intense sweetness of the 2003. On the palate, let's start with the 2003. At first, sweet and smoky, then a bit dirty on ashes again, some salt, and there is a bitterness in the middle. Simply grand. The sweetness here is self-explanatory, as is the ashes and the silt, but that bitterness seems to be from, like from a grapefruit pith. Delicious indeed. The 2005. Well, like on the nose, on the palate as well, this 2005 release is less sweet than its counterpart. Here I get some Turkish coffee maybe, but also some, it's more classic on some apples, raisins and figs that are wrapped in a smoky jacket. But the peat smoke is grand here. Lots of cold ashes, some tobacco as well. Yes, quite excellent, but again, significantly different. Right, on the finish. It lasts forever on this one. The 2003, lots of smoke in the finish. Some coffee, some chocolate, and a chili pepper at the death. Excellent. 2005. Medium long, spicy and sweet, with a wonderful maritime twist at the death. Amazing, amazing to think that these are only 1 year apart in release. They're actually 2 years apart in distillation date, but so significantly different. They're both matured for a second period on Pedro Jimenez, the King of Sherry. And this one is very sweet, this one is very smoky. So this is more to the classic Lagavulin, and this has more sweetness from the Pedro Jimenez. So as Distillers Edition goes, I'll be honest, my preference is the 2003. But both are absolutely outstanding. And I'll have you know that from the Distillers Editions, the Lagavulin is the one I've tried the most. I had tried 7 already, so this was number 8 and number 9. What's not to like? And that's all for this Whisky Rambling, and I hope to see you at one of Mark's Whisky Ramblings real soon. And until then, may the malt be with you. Bye-bye.